I'm saying like the cheese that everything's
nothing
melted.
Properly layered, properly melted. I can break down the nachos for you if you really want to know.
So the only reason why I mention is because I think nachos is the one where when we were at the Final Four, a couple buddies got nachos and they're offering at the end. I'm like, you're offering me a chip. Okay, there's no cheese anywhere. What are you offering me?
Stadium ones are the worst because it's always like the fake,
was at NRG.
Push, nachos that are terrible.
It was a good effort, executed poorly. It had shredded chicken, which is a good start. It wasn't very kind of bland. It had this weird avocado crema that was not particularly good. Cheese was fine. Cheese was melted properly and layered throughout. But it's like they had an excess of corn in the kitchen. You're like, hey, just put like 9 areas of corn on these nachos. Like, I like corn. I don't mind corn in Mexican food. It's fine. Corn is pretty good. But it was like eating a bowl of corn pops. It's like I shouldn't. These are supposed to be nachos. I shouldn't get a mouthful of corn every time I bite one of these.
The profit
things.
And loss that they have here, corn was the cheapest of the product. And
okay, maybe here's the situation.
Way too much corn.
So someone was in the kitchen and they were like making your nachos. They're like, oh no, got the chicken, got the whatever else is on there, and then they spilled the corn, and they're like, well, we can't just start over.
They should have started over. By the way, that sounds like a very possible explanation. It was like if you're going to take, a little corn for a little crunch in there, just sprinkle a little corn. It's like they emptied 2 cans of corn into the bowl. Too much corn.
Can I get a spoon?
It was like almost cream corn that you get like at a steakhouse, only instead of the cream, it was filled with tortilla chips.
What time is the movie time?
6:30.
6:30? Okay.
Yeah. And the Dodgers did me a solid. So the Dodgers decided, you know what we'll do? We'll play a 3-hour and 10-game minute tonight.
So you had enough time.
3-hour and 10-minute game. Mm-hmm. So I got home at like the end of the 5th inning, got to see the second half of the game, got to see the rally.
Was it the 6 where they scored 5 or something like that?
Got
All right,
to
there
see
you
the
go.
Muncie homer, got to see Freddie Freeman have a 600-pitch at-bat, the entire thing. It was a good night. It was a good night. How about you, Slee?
It was kind of one of the few... Getting a little accustomed to this. It's like, wait a minute, there's no Laker game for 4 days. Is this the All-Star break again? I should have went to Mexico. Should have took off for a week and a half.
Should have.
I actually just kind of chilled, kind of kicked back, got a chance to go to the gym yesterday, and then got home, watched I don't know how many other people are watching the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Pelicans. I could have been the only one in L.A. watching it.
Makes 2 of us.
But
I watched it too.
Watched a really good game. It was a really good game. Surprisingly, I know.
Anything to add other than it was good?
Shea Gilgeous is the man.
Sell me on why it was good.
Shea Gilgeous is the man. Josh Giddey.
C.J. McCollum fumbled it, man.
Josh
Did
Giddey.
He blow it?
Listen to this. And you've talked about Giddey in the past a little bit.
Giddey.
Okay. 30, 10, and 9 as a 20-year-old.
Pretty good.
Pretty damn good. OKC, who, how we talk about the Lakers always seem to have trouble with the Oklahoma City Thunder because they always had trouble with Oklahoma City Thunder. It's going to be a good team in a couple of years.
You got a million
Beat New Orleans on the road. Now they get that game against Minnesota coming up on Friday.
I was shocked by the lack of people in New Orleans Stadium, at least in the beginning. So, like when I was looking up, I was like, "Jesus, there's no one there." It's a playoff game. Or at least maybe by the court. Like it was the beginning, I looked up and I was like, "Jesus, there's no one there."
I really think we get spoiled here in LA with that in mind. That because we have such powerful brands with our teams here, the Los Angeles Lakers are not just not the NBA team in town. They're the NBA team in the league. The Dodgers are probably the second most recognizable team in all of Major League Baseball behind the Yankees. The USC Trojans are one of 4 or 5 most recognizable brands in college football. UCLA is one of the most 4 or 5 recognizable brands in college basketball. The Rams just won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and while they're relatively new back in town, they have been here for a long time. That a team like New Orleans doesn't have anybody there, this doesn't really surprise me. They're just some places just have teams, and people don't really feel it the way that we do here.
But that's. I think it depends on a couple things, because I would think for all the reasons that you just mentioned, when you have New Orleans that's your main team. Yes, you got the Saints there, of course. That's the main football team. But and it's not like it's game 37 of the season. It's just Pelicans and Thunder. Yeah, it's a little surprising. But you are right. No,
9 and 10.
The take it for granted is
9 and 10, right? No tradition to speak of at all. No real hope beyond maybe we can get the 8. I don't know.
Zion isn't playing.
Zion isn't playing, and maybe won't play more than 5 games a year for the rest of his life. That's a whole other thing. I hope not too. He's amazing, but we need to stop with the Zion Brandon Ingram thing. No, they've been together for a while now.
Wait, say it again. Stop with the what?
This is look out for these guys. No, Brandon Ingram has not proven that he can lead a team, and Zion never plays. So I'm done with that entire narrative.
It's funny every time
drives me nuts.
Every time you mention BI, I think your expectations of BI are much higher than mine.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think BI is the third best player on a good team, and I don't see it. And I don't see it any like that's
fine. But no
if
one
he's
says
the third best player,
if that were the
that's
jump
a good
off,
team.
I don't have anything to push back against with what you said. But hey, you know who's coming? You know who's going to be the next big deal? And this is Brandon Ingram. Why? With all the losing he does? That's if you want somebody to never make the playoffs, he's your man. It's just weird.
Seeing Zion at the end of the bench, in my head, I'm like,
the nachos.
I hope that dude somehow makes it back and just starts playing 50, 60 games a year, whatever the case is.
He's got to.
Did you get a chance?
Center.
Did you hear him a couple days ago? Did you get a chance?
He'll come
to hear
back when he's Zion again. That he said he felt physically fine, but that he was waiting until he was fully Zion. That quote.
I actually felt that's a perfect example of somebody that can't turn off the outside noise. Like it's really affecting him. What anybody says about him, he's hearing it, and it's not going away. When he gets to a place in his life where he says, "I don't give an F what anybody says," unfortunately, that's not where he is.
No, he's got to fix his body. He's been in the league. What's this? 5th year? 4th year? 4th? I think it's 4th.
Probably.
Yeah, 4th
year. He was drafted in 2019.
All right, so there you go. 2019, and he missed all of last year. He missed the lion's share of this year. And his rookie year, he barely never played.
I heard somebody say yesterday on the broadcast, 100 and let's say 10, something like that.
Yeah.
And they were comparing it to at least to kind of have some light at the end of the tunnel. I think Embiid played 90-something games in his first 4 years, and they're hoping, hey, maybe this could turn out that way. We'll see.
It's a good example. Embiid did change his body. Mm-hmm. Embiid got serious about doing what he needed to do.
And he's still a huge dude. Like, the guy's thick.
He's not overweight the way that he was when he first came in. And the Shirley Temple stories where he was ordering pictures of them to his hotel room, he stopped doing that. He got a little more serious.
Shirley Temples are amazing, though.
Not a picture if you're a professional athlete. You can't have a whole picture of them. You can't do that. Not when your body is betraying you.
Have I told the story?
Have a picture of ice water.
The very first wedding that I ever went to, I was probably like 8 years old. It was my cousin's wedding, and he got married in Richmond, Virginia, and at this very fancy, nice hotel. And it was the first time my parents let me have a little more leeway than they normally do, and so I went up to the one of the bartenders, and I got probably 15 Shirley Temples.
That's 14 and a half too
I
many.
had just Shirley Temples. I was going to it all night. I guess this guy probably got like so mad at me because I was just coming up each time, ordering another Shirley Temple, like, hit me. I need another one.
I'm surprised you didn't rot your teeth out of your head.
She's walking up to the bars and give me another one.
Yeah, just another Shirley Temple, please.
Shot glass of Shirley Temple just waiting for her, sitting right there. All right, the Lakers obviously have a few days off, like you mentioned, Slee. They're getting ready to take on the Grizz, and it's crazy how dramatically it has changed in just a couple of days.
Yeah, you're right.
Based on what the Lakers look like against Minnesota. That's part of it. And then there, I think, is the more basketball-y portion of it all, which is, look, the Grizzlies are the number 2 seed for a reason. It's not just that they were given, they drew it out of a hat. And it's like, okay, you're in the 2 spot. They were the second best team. They have a player that can win games by himself.
Yep.
They have other very good supporting players. They're going to be at home. And after the euphoria of, hey, we came back from 2-10, we worked our way out of the play-in, we're in the playoffs too. All right, who do you have a series against? And like you were saying, for the last week or so, the Lakers have been playing decent enough to win games, but they haven't really looked great in any of those games. Not
impressive at all.
They really were unimpressive in the game that they won the other night too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you got to go beat the 7th seed has not won a series since 2010. 13 years ago. It's a long time. I understand that this is a little bit different, but how different? That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
talk all day long. Each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., this is Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
So, why could they not get a better wig for Ben Affleck? Like, Ben Affleck's a good actor.
No, it's a good question. So Party City was not open on the day they started doing some of the stuff, and that's what the original plan was. They were going to go to Party City. They had a corporate credit card. There was $60 available to them. There was a gift card that they got from somebody for Party City. So I hope that helped kind of cleans the...
They did change the
help a
wig,
little bit.
too. So, like, my friend who was working in the movie said that originally they had a different wig. They changed the wig to make it a little more realistic. Didn't totally get there. So, yeah, the wig was a work in progress.
Okay, so here's my question about the movie. And again, I liked it. Like, I went with Bobby. Michael couldn't go. Michael still wants to see it. And I said, I'll go see it with you again. I enjoyed the movie. Matt Damon, Emily, you help me out here. You're my insider in the movie. He didn't really put on that weight for that movie, right? That was a fat suit?
Yeah.
Okay. So that looked really good. Like, he looked like a middle-aged, paunchy man.
I wouldn't have known
right?
that.
Yeah, Matt Damon's pretty fit. He's not going to...
But some of these guys
He's Jason Bourne.
whatever...
but he'd have to put on like 60 pounds, Slee. That's a lot.
Who was it? Who was it that put on... We've had some actors
Christian
do it.
Bale.
So.
He goes really...
Christian Bale,
he
De
puts on a
Niro
lot
did it for Raging Bull when he
Yep.
was Jake LaMotta. It happens, but Damon, that was prosthetics, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If they could make him, Matt Damon, leading man Hollywood, Jason Bourne, fit guy,
Yep.
right, look like a paunchy, middle-aged basketball person, we couldn't get Affleck a good wig? Like, I don't... The fat suit was a far more convincing prop than the wig. Just
I also think
want
it
a better
doesn't
wig.
work with his complexion, too, for Ben Affleck. I think that you have to have a certain complexion to have the redder tints in your hair come out and work well. And I think that just didn't work with his more olive-toned skin, if we're going to go deep in detail here.
So Chris writes that Trav's review of Air would in reality be a theater nacho review. Was the safest bet of all time.
It really was. I think most people forgot that you went to see a movie.
Well,
I could see you going to the theater, getting the nachos, not going to an actual movie, reviewing it, doing a YouTube review, and then going home.
less corn, Slee. It's just not. I mean, everything else was okay, I guess, along the way. And they were a little slow bringing the beer out. Everyone in the theater had their. I was the last one, almost to the point where I think I need to hit the button and say that they just forgot me. Right?
Well, did they not have it, or are they just running out of it? They
It's on purpose.
do new keg?
Sending a message.
It was a Modelo. It's not like it was a craft beer that they needed to send out to San Diego to get. I mean, they could have. There's a Ralph's in the same parking lot. Run around the corner and buy
Coronado Brewing. We'll have it here in an hour and a half.
It wasn't
Do you
that
guys
at all.
ever try to sneak in food to movies? Because I know that. So I haven't worked in movies, but my sisters have, and honestly, they didn't care. They didn't care if you brought stuff in, and I don't think they'd get paid enough to care.
I definitely.
So do you guys ever bring things in?
I haven't in a long time, but I have done it. Yeah, look, those are the things, like those rules that places like that have. No one there is going to enforce those rules. It's not worth the kid that's supposed to see if you have a beer in your purse doesn't care if you have a beer in your purse or not. What does he care? He makes his $16 an hour. He's going home. He's not picking a fight with some mom who has a can of wine in her purse. That's not going to happen.
I'm like, babe, put this Panda Express in your purse. I'm going to have a full dinner.
We used to roll
People
some
do
burritos
that. There.
in there. Yeah.
People bring burritos
I wouldn't.
in.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't
I've
do that.
done
More snacks.
a burrito. I've done a burrito. Las Golondrinas right across the street. Sometimes it's,
Yeah, just
the
smell
mood
up the
strikes
whole
you.
place while we're 4 minutes into the movie.
All right, Dylan Brooks is what do we want to call him? An instigator, an agitator. He's the guy that's been into it with LeBron. With Draymond. He's been into it with a lot of guys along the way, and he had this to say about their impending matchup with the Los Angeles Lakers.
I don't really dislike nobody. I just bring the competitive edge. But I wouldn't mind playing LeBron in a 7-game series. The legacy's there. First time back in the playoffs, knock them out right away in the first round. They'll test us good, They got good pieces, good players, and that'll be a good first-round matchup for us.
All right, first off, that's very Dylan Brooks. But let me break down a little bit of what he said. And, you could tell me if you like this or you don't. I like it. I personally like it. I don't think we have
What do you
enough.
like about it?
I don't think we have enough of people just being honest. Some people will avoid saying certain things. It might not be my style. I'm more of I'd rather not let LeBron James know that I do want to play him. I'd rather not maybe add a little fuel for LeBron James and the Lakers that's unnecessary fuel. Why add that fuel? But this kind of goes with Dillon Brooks, and it kind of goes with the Memphis Grizzlies. He did find a way to say, he complimented them. They got good pieces, good players. That's a good first-round matchup for us. But, of course, the only thing people are going to take here is first time back in the playoffs, knock him out right away. I don't know what that's going to eventually do for the Lakers and if it changes anything, but if you're going to run your mouth, you got to be able to back it up. Dillon Brooks is not a 6-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's also not a future Hall of Famer. So it's a little interesting, but he's known to run his mouth. I personally don't mind it, but I don't know if it's the smart strategy for Dillon Brooks and the Memphis Grizzlies.
I like guys that talk. That's not the issue. I just think that it's inaccurate. I don't care what anybody says. I don't think LeBron James is, Dillon Brooks said that we're a good matchup for him. And come on, guys. It's just not that. They're going to go out there and they're going to play. They're going to be the Lakers, for better or for worse, whatever that is. They're going to go get it. I think what's interesting about it is it's a little bit of an insight as to the psyche of the opponent that the Lakers are going to have. They are a very specific type of team. They are rudderless. They're pretty good, right? But what have we been talking about since Ja went away to get his head squared away? That, they really missed Steven Adams. That Steven Adams was kind of the leader of this group. Steven Adams has been around a long time, but Steven Adams is just a guy that's been around a long time. It's not like he's LeBron James, who's been around a long time and been a great player the entire time. They have a certain way that they go about it that is disorganized, that is not buttoned up, that is not just, hey, look, let's get ready to go. The Lakers might lose this series, and we'll talk about whether or not I think they're going to. But they're not going to lose it because they get into a battle of words with the Dillon Brookses of the world. They're not going to get into it because they get caught up arguing with a celebrity on the sidelines like the Grizzlies had when they were in here playing the LA with Shannon Sharpe. They are a very specific the teams that typically win titles and win series are not chaotic. The Grizzlies are pretty good, but they're chaotic. Their best player missed time because he was having a hard time with things. No one's ever really kind of put their finger on what that was. Yeah. There's lots of speculation, but they're kind of discombobulated and chaotic. And instead of right before the series being a little bit more buttoned up, being a little bit more, let's just get our ducks in a row, because the Lakers are going to come in there and play. They could beat them, but that they're still doing that thing, I think just reflects poorly on them collectively. Dillon Brooks is going to say whatever he wants. I don't like it. I don't dislike it. I don't care. But I think it's an interesting way to look at it for the Lakers, that they're still this discombobulated group of pretty good players that could get on tilt for reasons that could happen out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think that's their identity right now. Whether that changes down the road or it doesn't change, that's kind of who they are. Let's put it this way. Dillon Brooks saying that, it fit. The fact that just give you an example. If if somebody from the Lakers was talking about how, hey, I want to go up against Ja Morant, I think it would be good for us, knock him out right away in the first round, that wouldn't fit. I wouldn't think. I'd be like, well, that kind of came out of nowhere. The fact that you hear the quote and it's from Dillon Brooks and it's the Memphis Grizzlies, I think it fits. I think it plays to their benefit in some ways. This is kind of who they are. However, to an extent, right?
Yes.
You also, they can't say, guys, we were in the finals last year. Now, they're very young. So maybe this is the year that they represent the Western Conference. I don't know.
Kind of needs to be, doesn't it? Like they are young, but it's not like this is their first year on the scene. This is not the Kings, this is our first time in the tournament, then let's see what our reaction to it. They've been in the tournament for a few years.
Past 2 years.
They need to not be we're the young team that might make some noise, to you're the number 2 seed. You earned it. You're at home for every series in the West minus the finals if Denver can hold serve on their half of the draw.
Good home court.
Good home court advantage. You will have the best player in the series frequently because you got Ja Morant on your team. This whole thing, we're the next big thing. They kind of need to at least take a step or two forward right now.
So I don't argue that at all. And if you look at last season, they were the number 2 seed last year too. So it's not like, to kind of go with what you're saying here, it's not the first time that they've been here. However, there is a lot that I think comes with what we've said in the past. Remember, they played the Warriors last year, and they won that series. Warriors won that series 4-2.
Mm-hmm.
This was in the semis, Western Conference semis. Okay, last year they won 56 games, and they were the number 2 seed in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
The difference, I think, this season coming into it is still people are disrespecting the top 3. That's happening. That the Nuggets, you get a credible amount of disrespect. The Kings we've talked about, and the Grizzlies are in the same level here until you get to the NBA Finals, right? Like there's always a hesitation to give your team that respect or that credit because you're going up against LeBron, who's done it before, or you were going up last year against the Warriors, who have done it before. If they lose in the first round, which could very easily happen, they could also beat the Lakers. That can easily happen. But if they lost in the first round, everything that you end up saying or everything that Dylan Brooks end up saying is just a little bit less weight. Okay, if they get to the next round and they play the Warriors again and they lose again in 6 games, a little less weight. And I agree, dude. This is kind of like this is an important time for the Grizzlies.
They either need to be a really good team that's a serious title contender, or you're just guys that chirp a lot. They're on the precipice of that.
Right now, I think they're perfectly in the middle. Right? Where they're competitive, they're good.
No, I don't agree. I think that they're more
but
a team
they chirp.
They chirp more than they impress me. They're good, but they're gonna have to. Same thing with the Nuggets. Don't really chirp at all. They're a pretty quiet team. But same thing. Like, I'm tired of, hey, you know it might be the Nuggets. No. I'm gonna need to see it. I'm done giving you that. Well, they could be the next big thing. Like the Lakers get more credibility. They go, hey, look, the Lakers, because we know and they go about doing these things. But these two teams have been near the top several years in a row. Do something or be quiet.
I want to go back to what you said a little earlier in this segment. You said that Ja Morant is the best player in this series. Is he? Is he the best player in the series, or is it LeBron? Is it AD? Because in the playoffs, can't you just say that LeBron is the best player on the court?
No.
You can't?
No, I think it's fair to say there's going to be a game where you say Ja Morant was the best player on the floor.
No, there'll be a game or two or more. But
I'll go for 50 at least one game.
Yeah, Ja's going to have those, oh my gosh, look at that games for that sort of player he is. But I do think that there's something about it. Is Ja just the best player? Or is LeBron's, maybe he can't go nuclear like Ja can still now, but does his experience, does his IQ, does his ability to control tempo, all of those things, does that still make him the more dangerous player in a series? It's a good topic. We can do that for sure. All right, we're going to take some phone calls coming up here in just a little bit, 877-710-ESPN, and we'll kick that around. Who is the best player in the series, and doesn't matter if it is Ja Morant. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710. Daniel Tapia in the Trav and Slee community has a tweet, Al. It says, I have snuck in burritos, Subway sandwiches, and cupcakes into the movies. Subway, that would be a pretty easy one. It's a sandwich, unless you're going tuna melt. I think you could pretty clandestine.
Yeah, don't
operation.
do the meatball marinara.
Meatball might have a certain
Let's not do that
aroma. It's going to fill it.
Be sure that's not on the
you
menu.
can put it in your coat pocket, too. Like you can
we know we could sneak it in.
Yeah.
That part's not
But
the issue.
here's the thing. I ordered nachos. Those aren't fragrance-free. The guy next to me had chicken fingers and fries. That's not fragrant. There's
a lot of these places now. You can get
food.
burgers. You
There's
can get
food
that stuff, yeah.
odors in the air, so you can bring in a chow mein if you
I'm
want.
getting tikka masala. Bringing in tikka masala next time. Don't laugh, Taylor. Let me just enjoy my Indian food.
A friend of mine took a poke bowl in one time. Just smelled like tuna. The whole theater.
Now, if you're going into a theater that doesn't have like the restaurant attached to it, then that's aggressive.
Oh, he snuck it in, like underneath his jacket.
Yeah, where they're serving only popcorn and candy,
Junior Mints, and Cokes.
And you're walking in with
a tuna bowl.
freaking raw.
By the way, poke bowls hard to beat. Those are pretty good along the way. All right, so that begs the question: weirdest thing you've ever snuck into the movies? Burritos aggressive. That's gonna. I mean,
It's aggressive.
yeah, because it's pretty big if you're doing it right, and it's got some
Isn't
fragrances attached.
Isn't
to
it similar to our conversation we get on an airplane? It's pretty similar.
It's bigger. A movie theater's a lot bigger than an airplane. Like
Yeah.
if you are on an airplane and somebody on the airplane has a tuna sandwich, you're going to smell it. If somebody has a tuna sandwich in the movie theater, I got to be in the general
I don't
area.
know. My
no?
nose it could be 100 yards away,
You're
and
in
I'm
the
like,
front.
who got it?
You're in the front, so maybe if the tuna sandwich
Because
is
the air conditioning is blowing up forward.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so
And-
hit us up with those.
And speaking of like the cupcake thing, so yesterday I went to the bar we usually have trivia.
Cupcake, all good. Yeah, you bring
Yeah.
me that stuff,
Yeah.
no problem.
We went to the normal bar we go to trivia at, and it was my friend Christine's birthday, and so
Happy birthday, Christine.
Yeah, I had made cupcakes, and so I was
What kind?
Funfetti. Taylor has one, and I had DeAndre one. I offered one to you, Travis,
did.
but you declined.
I politely declined.
It
I
was
believe.
10 a.m., so makes sense. But anyway, I was gonna bring this Tupperware thing into the bar because I've seen other people do this too. They brought cakes, they brought other things to the bar because it's outdoor bar, you can eat it there. And the doorman or security guy was like, "Well, you can't really bring outside food in." And I was like, "But if I give you a cupcake, will you let me in?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever."
Exactly.
And he's also, I don't really care enough about this.
Yeah, that
And it's also-
negotiation.
She bribed the doorman with
Jeez.
pastry.
It's not like this bar was selling any sweets. It's not like I'm like competing with the food at this bar, and so
You didn't roll in with a Blackstone grill and start cooking tacos for the customers.
Right, exactly.
It's like it's my friend's birthday. I've got a couple of cupcakes. Let me roll.
Flipping burger.
Right. Like, I understand that if they sell burgers and fries,
Yeah.
you can't roll in with a bag of Wendy's. I understand that, okay?
This is not a buffet.
But if you are going to a bar and it's your friend's birthday and you want to bring in a cupcake, that's fine. Good job, Em.
I'm
Cupcakes
selling
went over
drinks
well.
at the bar for $2 less.
How
I'm
much
promoting.
How much they charging for a Coors Light? $6? I'll give it to you for $4.50. That I get. That's
My light is just out the door.
That's a different deal. Let's try phone call. Let's go to Los Angeles and TC. TC, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up?
Hey, how you guys doing? I think that you guys are the ones that's guilty of disrespecting the top three in the West. It ain't the other people. You guys like the Kings did. Yes, they first playoff season in all these years or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but Memphis, you guys are very disrespectful to Memphis. You guys say, oh, they lost to the Warriors last year in the playoffs, but you guys didn't mention that Morant hurt his knee in that series and missed the rest of that series. Who knows how that series would have went if Morant didn't get hurt? And speaking of Morant, who's going to guard him this series?
Okay, let's take these in order. Thanks for the call, TC. Put who's going to guard Ja over there for
disrespect
a second.
first.
We'll get to it. I don't think it's disrespectful to say to somebody, I'm going to need to see it from you before I hear it from you. And we've been hearing a lot from Memphis over the last couple of years. You're right that the extenuating circumstances around Ja's injury last year obviously had an impact on this year. That's the playoffs. Everybody had, like, if we're doing the if-then things, then the Warriors should probably have 6 different titles, right? Because if Draymond Green doesn't kick LeBron James, they win that one and get suspended. That if Clay and KD don't go down against Toronto, then Kawhi doesn't get the one in Toronto, and the Warriors get another one along with it. Injuries happen, and it's just part of it. It's part of the explanation, but you either get there or you don't. They haven't. They've kind of been in this situation before. So I don't think it's disrespectful to say, I'm going to need to see it from you before I just automatically think that you are the team to beat going into this. We've never seen Denver as the team to beat. We've never seen Memphis in this situation where the rest of the field is open the way that it is. And that's why the Kings, I think, are kind of in that boat as well. They are not a lot better than the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th seed. They're a little bit better. But the teams at the bottom have changed dramatically over the course of the last part of the season. It's as wide open as I've ever seen it. I think most basketball people are thinking that second-round series is going to be between the 6th and the 7th seed. That's really incredibly unusual. And I don't think it's disrespectful, as it's just a function of everybody's kind of the same.
I think it's natural to wait to, hey, I want to see what this team accomplishes before I say, I know what LeBron has done in his career. I know what Anthony Davis has done in his career. This actually has less to do with teams. It has more to do with individuals. I know what Steph has done and Draymond has done and KD has done. Well, those are all players Kawhi has done. Those are all players that are not in the 1, 2, 3 seed. It's the players that are telling you, I've seen him do it. I've seen him do it here. I've seen him do it somewhere else. Maybe there's a little disrespect to look, the Memphis Grizzlies should not be talked about the same way the Sacramento Kings have. Because Memphis has gone through playoff rounds before. So they're a little bit more ahead of schedule, let's say. But if they're out in the first round against and I'm going to say this, I said it again yesterday. If the Lakers play anywhere near they have played in the last week and a half, the Memphis Grizzlies are going to beat the Lakers. Yes. And I don't think that's a crazy take. I think it's just the reality. They didn't play good for the last week and a half. Memphis is not going to have Steven Adams and Brandon Clark. Well, that could also have a big impact in the series, but I don't know if it's disrespect. I think it's more when you haven't seen a team or an individual get there, you hesitate in saying they're going to get there.
All right, so as far as who's going to guard Ja, the answer is obviously nobody. Here, I want to turn it on its head, though. Who does stop Ja? Right? You don't have anybody that can guard Ja. Is there a person in the league that can? Right? That there are just some guys that when they get going, that's it. Ja's one of them. Steph Curry's one of them. Kevin Durant's one of them. There are just some guys that if they get going, there's no, our defense is terrible. No, it's just great offense that there is no LeBron for a long time and for patches right now can still be that good. There's no answer for it. So there isn't we're going to have to put D'Angelo on him, you put Schroeder, you put both of them on him, you do the best you can, you try to make it as hard as you possibly can.
And he could still drop 35.
Of course he can. There are 10, 12 guys in the league. When James Harden, he's going to get his 35 points. There's nothing you can do about it. Giannis gets going. He's scoring 40 points. There's nothing you can do about it. It's you do the best you can on everybody else, but those elite offensive players, and Ja is obviously one of them, if they get going, you're not stopping them. You just hold on and hope that you can survive it. That's all it is.
Yeah, for them, I mean, I'll use the game Lakers had on Tuesday against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards had a really bad game. Sometimes stars or good players have really bad games. Yeah, you hope you get one of those from Ja Morant. That happens. Happens to Anthony Davis, LeBron James. Happens to all of them.
Maybe just average, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know what his average is. Let's say it's 30 for round numbers. Hold him to 30 every night, you got a pretty good chance. But if he hits you with a couple of 42s or something like that, you're in trouble.
Their problem, and this is going to be, I think, LeBron and Anthony Davis, we talk about, hey, they're going to get theirs. Ja's going to get his.
Sure.
Question's going to be, does Desmond Bane, does Jaren Jackson, does Dylan Brooks, do all these other guys also have good games, or do they not?
So Ja averages 26.2. Keep him somewhere around there, you got a really good chance. Make sure no one else goes nuts, you got a pretty good chance. If you let Ja have a couple of 40-point nights, they're going to win those games. That's what great players do, and he's certainly a great player. Let's try another one. Santa Monica, Daniel, you're up next. Daniel, what's up?
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Just about, how to guard Ja. Obviously, no single player could do it. And downhill, he's an absolute nightmare. You look up and all of a sudden you're down by 20. I think that's how he can get his whole team involved. I'm curious to see what you guys think about maybe the strategy that was used for a long time guarding Giannis. Because neither of them can shoot, but in the open court, they're deadly. So maybe, kind of using that sort of approach could maybe, I don't know, kind of get in his head a little bit. It's one way to prevent the whole team from getting you too.
Look,
what do you guys think about that?
I think it's really interesting, and I'm going to spin it off into something else, that what Bill Belichick was incredibly good at, and is still incredibly good at, when he plays somebody, he makes you do the thing that you want to do the least, right? If you don't throw the ball well, he's going to give you he's going to make sure you can't run
load
the
up
ball.
the ball. Yeah.
I'm going to if you can't go to your left, I will give it to you all day long.
Yeah.
You're right about Giannis and Ja and their outside shot. It comes and goes, right? There are some nights where they're making them and some nights where they're not. The difference with basketball is you can do all of these things to force them to make jump shots. A guy like John Giannis can still get to the basket. They still can. You play team defense. You use every trick in the book to try to do it. Sometimes the other guy's just that damn good, and there's no answer for him. Unfortunately for Laker fans, Ja's one of those guys. He could have a night where he doesn't make a shot behind the line, and he could have 40 points. That's just how good he is.
And his position in today's NBA, he's got the ball in his hands. Yeah. So, a lot of times you talk about AD. Why doesn't AD just take over a game? A lot of times AD is depending on somebody to get him the ball. Yeah. Ja's got the ball from the moment they inbound the ball all the way down. So
and he can take over. Quick tweet here. Captain Howdy, nothing funnier than hearing the empty bottle of Bacardi you snuck into the theater roll underneath the seats, clink, 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 as it goes down each step, making its way to the front of the theater. Needless to say, it got a few laughs. Yeah, I've heard that before.
That's the Office thing, too.
Yeah.
They did it happen in Andy's Play episode where the wine bottle came all the way down.
That's when you got to yell, whose is that?
Yeah, somebody, come on, man. Come on. Nobody cares.
It's a theater.
That's the thing. No one cares.
No, they don't.
If the only thing they're mad at is you couldn't have passed that down the line. That's probably the only thing anybody's upset about. Taylor Smith, Smitty, with Hey Did You See? It's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 7.
Travis and Sliwa, and it's time for the segment we do around this time, 10:40 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hey, did you see that sky today?
Did you guys see that?
Basically, the days we don't do Ask Slee, we do this thing. It's called Hey, Did You See?
Did you see that? I thought I did it.
Did you see the memo about this?
I mean, I'm excited. You can tell by my read. Hey, did you see?
Oh, hey. Did you happen to see?
It's time for Hey, Did You See?
Hey, man, did you touch my drum set?
Have you read this?
Right now on Travis and Sliwa.
So before we get to Hey Did You See, Taylor, how you feeling as we're getting closer to the your first playoff series in quite some time?
Let's go Kings.
I was telling Slee yesterday, it's taken an eternity for the playoffs to get around. I mean, it's just like, come on, let's just get it started already. That's what makes me nervous, is the amount of time.
A little anxious to get going?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is it bad, or is it doesn't really matter if
I feel like a young team like this is better if they just keep going.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Keep the momentum going.
Did they play any of their guys? They didn't play any of their guys Friday or Sunday, right?
They played their starters in the second half of the last game of the season.
Okay.
Rest versus rust.
Yeah.
Rest.
Well, everybody is going to have some rust, right?
Yeah,
Denver hasn't played in freaking...
The final day of the season was Sunday, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, if
but
you
Phoenix,
have at least 5 days.
But it's not even that. Phoenix didn't play any of their guys, right? Like, they played one half of 2 games.
What do you got for us, Taylor?
Okay. Do you guys know what cosplay is? Cosplay?
I do.
Okay. So...
I do not.
It's when you dress up as like one of your favorite characters from an anime series, cartoon series, could be an athlete even.
Okay.
You just
you
dressed
put
up
on
as
your
somebody
Chewbacca
else.
suit and walk around town. That's cosplay.
Basically,
so, did you see
those
that
conventions? Yep.
Yeah, those conventions that they have, like Comic-Con outside here.
Yeah.
Did you see that 65% of cosplayers are female? So, Sliwa, would you ever try cosplay? And what would you like to dress up as if you did it?
So I've been to the what do we just call it? The convention?
Comic-Con?
Comic-Con. Yeah. I've been to Comic-Con, and I was there for a work event. And gotta be honest, I had zero interest, like zero interest at all. And I didn't really kind of understand it, and people loved it, and I get it. The character is so popular and everything else. That's one of the things that's probably as far down the list for me. It's just not my thing at all. I got no connection to it at all, so I don't think I would do it.
Preview of the snake draft.
Yeah, right. There you go.
You're not
there
wrong. That literally is one of them.
Your first pick.
Yeah.
Comic-Con and cosplay, right? That tracks, by the way. I would do it kind of as a lark. Sure, why not? And if I had to do it, there's one that kind of jumps to mind, and I don't. Can you? Yeah, you can. Maybe Homer Simpson. I think I have the body type for it. I have most of the hairline for it. I've got
paint
my 3
yellow.
kids. You could paint me yellow. You could draw the little weird hairline on the back. But yeah, if you're gonna do, because if you're gonna go do it, you want to go somewhere where
that it matches.
Something you have interest in. Like for instance, I like Star Wars, fine, but I don't need to be surrounded by that. Like if I went and spent a few hours immersed in a Simpsons universe, I could hang with that.
You could be Darth Vader too. You know, you put on a helmet.
I could do that.
Yeah,
I'm maybe more of a Chewy sort of guy.
Avatar. You should do Avatar.
The blue guys.
You'd
Dip myself in blue
really
paint.
hate that.
Yeah, I'd do it. Why not?
I think if I was going to do it at all, and I also thought about doing this for Halloween. But a Targaryen, which I know you guys don't know who they are, but they are the dragon people of Game of Thrones, and they all have like sleek blonde hair, and like you wear like a long wig and like fun outfits and stuff. So I'd be a Targaryen.
There you go.
I do that this
Have
weekend.
a little dragon.
Some dragon eggs.
Would you, Taylor? You strike me as a no cosplay.
I'm a no on that, but if I was going to do it, I'd do something that, I don't know, like a tall, thin character, like a Jack Skellington maybe.
Not bad.
Or Groot.
Who's a
Slender
tall,
Man?
skinny musician?
Tall, skinny musician.
Yes.
Chris Novoselic from Nirvana.
Ooh, is Alice Cooper tall? You should do like an Alice Cooper cosplay. Paint your face with the tears.
I don't know how tall he is. I'll have to look that up. All right, guys. Next up, did you see that nearly 69% of those surveyed said that waiting in line elicits negative feelings, including boredom, annoyance, frustration, and impatience? So, what's something that's worth standing in line for? Travis.
You know where I don't mind standing in line? And I this is maybe just a weird personality quirk that I have.
In and out.
I honest to God, Taylor, you took the words right out of my mouth. There's always a line. I really don't remember a time where I've just driven up to an In-N-Out and there was only a car or two ahead of me. Mm-hmm. There's always 8 or 10, sometimes 20 cars. It doesn't move particularly fast, but it does move along the way, and it's always worth it at the end of the line. So In-N-Out's the first thing that I was thinking of. The other thing, I don't mind waiting in line at Disneyland. I really don't. It's part of the odd experience, and Emily and I were having a conversation today. You get to spend time with the people you're spending time with in those lines. You're forced into conversations. You're with the people that you care about theoretically. It's nice, especially when you're the parent in that thing and your kid is trapped and they're finally done staring at their phone for a few minutes, it's not so bad.
But then you also have to witness the teenagers like making out in line and being really weirdly lovey and stuff, and that's I don't like that.
PDAs are always awkward. Yes, I'm with you on that.
This is the best I could come up with waiting in line and being okay with it. If I'm going to a sporting event or I'm going to a concert or something like that, because I'm really excited to get in, right? So there's a little bit of that anticipation that you're about to get in. Maybe if you're going to the Hollywood Bowl and you already hear the music in the background, you're like, oh man, this is going to be awesome once I get in. But for the most part, like what you just described about Disneyland, I can't tell you how much I'm like, this is the worst thing. And you try to be positive about it. You're trying to like, no, Alan, it's fine. Come on. 20 minutes here. It's not a big deal. Even if it's some quick, even if you're going to go get a cup of coffee and there's 4 people in front of you, you just start sitting there like, is she ordering? What's she going to order? Is she going to hurry? Why is she on her phone? Why is she just ordering?
Does it matter if the line's long but it moves relatively quickly?
If it moves fast, it's a big difference.
As long as it's moving.
Okay,
right?
What's worse? When you have one person in front of you
Far
and they're
worse.
taking
far worse
3.5 minutes to decide what to do, like they've never been to the Starbucks
but you got a line
before.
of 10 people in front of you and each person takes 35 seconds. I'll take that.
So that's why I think I say the sporting event, because even when I was in Houston and going to the March Madness games, there was such an excitement. I'm like, I don't care how long the line is. I'm going to the Final Four. That might be the only one that's okay.
I think this one for me isn't necessarily one that I have done, nor will probably ever do. But because I was just thinking about, I'm so impatient. I really hate waiting in all lines. But I was like, the only line that would make sense would be waiting in line for the King of England. You know, like they had a line of people that are like going down and shaking hands.
What?
I wouldn't mind waiting in that line. That's literally probably the only line that I can think of that I wouldn't mind waiting in.
For royalty?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Next up, guys. Did you see today is the anniversary of the Warriors ending their season with a 73-9 record. So that was back in 2016, but to me it feels like it happened 20 years ago. So, Sliwa, name something that feels like a lifetime ago, but was actually relatively recent.
COVID feels like it was. I remember being in here in studio on air when they shut down the NBA games. It was the OKC and Phoenix or whoever it was, right? I can't remember the team was. Dallas. Why does that feel like it was? Thinking about, we used to do shows all the time.
It's like a fever dream.
We weren't allowed to come into the building. We weren't allowed, like all that stuff. Remember going to a restaurant? Remember we used to have cutoffs? Like there were certain times that you couldn't be out and go to this, that. That seems like that was a really long time ago. That's the thing that jumps out to me most.
That's the best answer. I'm not going to do better than that. But I was going to say the Lakers and Dodgers winning those championships, and it's because of COVID. That because the Lakers were in Orlando, because the Dodgers were in Dallas, and no one really got to see it in any meaningful way. It was only 3 years ago. It almost feels like it never even happened. Never mind.
I go more
it
to
went
that
a long time ago. But when you asked me, it was when was the last time the Dodgers won the World Series? My initial reaction is to go to 1988 Kirk Gibson. It's not the answer. The answer is 3 years ago in Dallas against the Rays.
In a 60-game set.
Yeah, just such a bizarre moment.
No fans.
Your answer is the better. Mine is the cause of what you're saying. But yeah, I remember talking with buddies, and they're like, this is how it's going to be forever. And I'm like, it's not. It will be normal again. It's going to feel like it never really wasn't normal. But in the moment, it felt like it was never going to end.
It's the last time you threw
forever.
a mask on. I think at the dentist I had to go when I'm going into the office.
Yeah,
I had to wear it.
Honestly don't remember.
Yeah.
Do we want one more, guys?
Yeah, hit me with one more.
All right. So I wasn't going to do this, but did you guys see that I've been growing my playoff mustache?
I noticed yesterday, yes.
In honor of the Kings breaking their playoff drought. So I know it's pretty weak. I've been growing this for like a week, and there's nothing on here.
Give me 45 minutes. I'll get there.
I
shaved this morning.
You can get it done in a hurry.
Problem.
You would win this contest.
So yeah, Slee, I've never seen you with facial hair, but you strike me as a guy that can grow it pretty easily. What's your advice for me growing facial hair?
So I can't. The fact that you have trouble with it, I can't relate to. I'm shaving every other day, and even this morning I'm looking. I'm like, I'm going to wait another day. I look in the mirror, and I'm like, no, you got to shave.
No,
you need to shave. My advice is, if you let it keep going, there's going to be a stage, and you would know this. It just gets really itchy, and you got to kind of go through that.
Muscle through.
You got to go through. It's very annoying.
You get used to it?
Incredibly annoying. Over time, you get used to it.
You
but
do.
it's to a point where you're like, I'm just gonna shave.
You
it.
may not get it because it's usually kind of on your jawline where it gets kind of itchy for me.
I'm shaving the rest, so I'm just doing the mustache right now, and it's
mustache. You should be fine.
It's like a walrus.
Well, here's the thing. I noticed it yesterday. I'm like, maybe he lost his razor. I did. I thought maybe there might be something going on. I didn't want to make you feel weird, but I did notice.
Sick last week. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought, I'll just let it be. You either can or you can't grow facial hair. You either have it or you don't. It's part of, just some people are hairier than others.
Some people have spots where they can't
doesn't
grow
fill
it.
in.
Yeah,
and
patchy, it just doesn't look good.
You strike me. You're lightly complected. You don't have like that natural 5 o'clock shadow like Mr. Sliwa over here. Even after he shaves, I'm kind of halfway in between you two guys. But
I might just give up.
Yeah, no,
don't
give up.
No. Well, you want the Kings? They go down 2-1. You want them to give up? They don't give
like
up.
Joe Dirt if they go to the NBA Finals. Okay. You'll look amazing along the way. All right, so we saw Dylan Brooks. I don't want to say calling out the Lakers, but talking about the Lakers. Juan Soto kind of did call out the Dodgers. That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710.
Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A Good Karma Brands radio station. It is the show that begins 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. Each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
So going to a movie on a Wednesday night was
Not
really
bad.
deeply enjoyable.
All right.
It was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience with somebody that I like spending time with. It was all very, very nice and wonderful. And as I'm walking out of the theater, I'm thinking, I really should do that more often. I know I will. It'll be at least 5 years before I do it again.
Why?
Because I just know myself well enough. I just know. It's like exercise.
Was it empty?
No, about half full.
Okay.
About half full. It wasn't empty, but it wasn't like when I bought the tickets yesterday after the show or right before the show ended, and I had to pick the seats I wanted.
Yeah.
We right in the middle, about 2/3 of the way up, Slee. That's kind of the sweet spot.
Too far. Get a little closer. Get up there.
Like this along the way. A couple of quick tweets here. Francis in Glendale. Emily, this is about you. Need M's Jersey impression complaining about the smell of food in the theater. Thanks. Hashtag Tikka Masala.
Hey, Machini, I can't have this tikka masala in my theater. You come to a movie, bring tikka masala, have some good gabagool.
It sounds...
It's only getting better.
It sounds like a bad Super Mario Brothers impression.
I should have played it instead of Chris Pratt.
It's only getting better.
I'm watching Mr. Ben Affleck.
2 weeks ago, I was like, Today?
Does
I'm
anybody here, I know, other than me, watch The Simpsons even quasi-regularly?
No.
I do not.
All right. There's a character that is the Luigi that owns an Italian restaurant that is even more
closest.
over the top
Some
than
gabagool and
Luigi.
prosciutto.
It's pretty great along the way. One more here. Trav as Wreck-It Ralph in cosplay. That's not bad.
You could do that.
That's not bad. I could. Did you ever see Wreck-It Ralph? It's pretty good. It's kids movie, but as kids movies go,
But it's like it's a Pixar, I think. So Pixar is, I think, of the best of those.
I don't know if they did
job.
look it up. I don't think so, but it's in that genre of kind of computer animation. It's pretty good, and it's about video games from more my era than yours, but some of yours on there as well.
It's a Disney one, but similar vein.
Similar, close enough. Same, they're cousins, right? Juan Soto. The Padres and the Dodgers are kind of off to a similar start. They're both, I think, 7-6.
Yeah.
The Padres just had a good trip. They went into Atlanta, took 3 or 4, and then they lost 2 or 3 to the Braves.
Couldn't score a run. 2 or 3 to the Mets.
To the Mets, that's right. Beat Atlanta 3 or 4, 2 or 3 to the Mets. The difference being the Dodgers have not played particularly good teams. The Padres have played a couple of pretty good teams along the way. And
keeps going. Tonight they start against the Brewers.
Yeah, who are off to a great start too.
Again.
Yeah. Dodgers get the Cubs again, then they get the Mets, and it turns a little bit. The month of May, obviously, for the Dodgers is the big deal. But Soto said something that I know bothered a lot of Dodger fans that didn't hit me quite the same way. Here he is talking about this upcoming season and their rivalry, or so to speak, against the Los Angeles Dodgers.
I think we're not worried about them. They should be worrying about us. I mean, we showed up last year. I mean, we showed them what we have in the playoff, and we just came up, played good baseball, and beat them. Now we add more players. We have more depth in our lineup. Our bullpen is great. I always say we have one of the best bullpens in the league, and I think they should be worrying about us. We're not worrying about anybody.
Okay, so that's Padres outfielder Juan Soto saying that they shouldn't be worried. We shouldn't be worried about them. They should be worried about us. I get it's a little. There's a little bit of heat in there. Is he not right? Like I when I read that, I'm like, it didn't hit me as it wasn't that. It was he's probably right. They do have a better team. I'm not saying Dodgers can't win the division, can't go to the World Series, can't win the World Series, can't beat the Padres in a series. But as he's looking at that, if you're just for the first time ever, the Dodgers should be worried about what the Padres are doing. They put together a team that's better than the Dodgers. Doesn't mean they'll win more games, but they are better than the Dodgers.
Okay, I think there's a couple ways to explain this. When I read that and I hear that from Juan Soto, somebody who's representing the San Diego Padres, I have a natural tendency to be like, Juan, no. Don't do that.
But you're not sneaking up on anybody. They're too good.
You're not wrong, but there's just years of history of no, keep it down. There's no need to say that.
They had bad teams. They don't have a bad team.
But here's the difference. Here's the other side. Juan Soto's Juan Soto. Juan Soto's history with the Los Angeles Dodgers. One year he faced them with the Nationals was unbelievable, and they went on to go win a World Series.
Nearly broke Clayton Kershaw's soul with that home run in the right field.
Okay, and they went on to go win a World Series. Juan Soto's other experience against the Dodgers is in a San Diego Padre jersey, coming at in the middle of the season, and his hit got the Padres a 3-3 tie in Game 4, and then eventually Cronenworth hits a single and they win the game 5-3. His experience against the Dodgers is he's had a tremendous amount of success against the Dodgers, specifically in the postseason. So the fact that that's Juan Soto saying that, remember we were playing the Dylan Brooks a little bit earlier?
Yep.
Okay, well, Dylan Brooks is the type of guy where you're saying, wait a minute, you haven't gone. Juan Soto's not that guy. Juan Soto's already had that success at a very young age, and he's already won a World Series. And against that specific team, if Dylan Brooks had beat the Golden State Warriors 2 years in a row, he could say whatever he wants if Draymond Green is talking. I know this is just Juan Soto kind of going on, ripping in his own, but the fact that it's coming from Soto, I think, is a little bit different because he has a little bit different history with the Dodgers.
The guy, to me, is not nearly as important as the what. You're right. Juan Soto is far more accomplished with a greater track record against the people he's talking about, in this case the Dodgers, than Dylan Brooks is against the Lakers. Yeah, sure. The Memphis Grizzlies are not definitively better than the Lakers. They're not one of these teams that you're like, look, they are. The Padres are not sneaking up on anybody. Mm-hmm. They went out and spent all the money to go get all the good players. Mm-hmm. Good for them. They've made it incredibly interesting. I like leaning into it when it's obvious. I like the idea of Juan Soto saying, yeah, they should be worried about us. We went out and signed Manny Machado to a long-term deal. We went out and got Xander Bogaerts. We got Fernando Tatis coming back. We went out and signed Joe Musgrove to a long-term deal.
Experience in the postseason
We
together.
just beat them. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that is incredibly valuable. It means nothing once it comes time to play against each other.
Yeah.
But I like that they're leaning into it because I think that it could also have one thing I don't like about it as a Dodger fan is I think this is the right way to play it. If you're a Padre person, you can't pretend that this isn't happening. You have to embrace the fact
about that. I agree with you.
Hey, look, we're supposed to win. The saying, hey, anything can happen in baseball. That means you're already uncomfortable
Those
with
were the quotes you hated about the Dodgers last year.
Hated it.
Where they were before postseason even started, they were setting up something like, you have 106 wins, you're going to end up at 111. Why are you setting up that, hey, anything can happen in the postseason?
When you have a good team, you can't pretend that you don't. Mm-hmm. You can't pretend, well, it's pretty random. We know, but you have the best team. The Padres right now might have the best team. We'll see. A lot of things have to happen. Tatis coming back into this could be super weird. The Dodgers are a weird team this year. Again, they played 13 games, so take it for what it's worth. They either score 10 runs or 1. They've got a really weird team. Their bullpen flat out stinks. They got to get that. Yet another. Yancy Almonte was not very good last night. Bickford was bad again. He's been bad all season. Evan Phillips bounced back after a bad night. Yep. He looked a lot better. Mm-hmm. But their bullpen is not that. Gratterall to Vezina to Phillips to game over. It's not that anymore. It's, all right, Kershaw did a really good job last night to keep it at 3. Didn't let any more runs in. Got us through the 6th inning. And here we go. And it's like, okay, I'm a base hit. Oh, boy, here we go. They're a weird team. After their first 4 guys, you're counting on guys that I don't know if James Outman's going to stay this hot.
Sure.
Hope so.
Sure.
Miguel Vargas, hope so.
Sure.
Rojas just got hurt. Now Chris Taylor's got to play shortstop.
Sure.
So he's in the lineup every night. Max Muncy hits 2 home runs every time he plays in San Francisco. But everywhere else, he looks like he's still trying to figure out what's going on. They're in a weird spot where the Padres they're going to get better. Fernando Tatis is as maybe as unlikable of a guy as he's become. Pretty darn good.
Sure.
He's gonna really make them a better team.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Musgrove will be back soon. Sure.
I love that they're leaning into it. They have no option. It's the only option. If anything could happen, that sucks. That doesn't work for me.
Well, I think when you said it didn't hit you as much as who said it. I think what you just said, I like that it came from this individual. Yeah. That it came from this person.
If it was Cronenworth, wouldn't you feel kind of the same way? That not just a guy. Juan Soto might be the best player in the league. Jay Cronenworth is a integral part of what the Pods do. Mm-hmm. He's an everyday player. Sure. He's a pretty good player. They just re-signed him too. Mm-hmm. But he's not Machado or Tatis or Soto.
I think it would come – the Cronenworth's a good example because it would be out of character. You're like, oh, Cronenworth, what'd you say? Where Soto, maybe it's a little more expected. He's got that swag. He does do his little shuffle at the plate. Like there are certain things that he brings to the table that's a little bit of it. It's interesting that actually you said about – I didn't pay that much attention to the matchups yet. You're right that the Padres have had a tougher schedule so far, but when do they face? What's the first?
May 5th. May 5th kicks off a 3-game series, and then there's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then they play the following Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Dodger Stadium. They Petco, then Dodger Stadium.
And then not
back-to-back
until
weekends.
Late, I think you said.
Then they don't play them again until
maybe August, or is it September?
They play 4-game series beginning of August, and then they play them in September. Mm-hmm. Not in June, not in July. Yeah, so when they face off, it's going to be a good measuring stick. It's going to be – I'm changing the subject here a little bit. Freddie Freeman had a 15-pitch at-bat last night. It really was.
Unbelievable.
Super fun. Those at-bats usually end with either a strikeout or an extra base hit. Mm-hmm. Then it ended when a walk was a little anticlimactic. 15 – and by the way, it was 2-0, 2-2, 3-2, and then 9 consecutive foul balls to get us to keep it at a full count, and then he walked. Seeing online, people, this could change the Dodgers. Slow down. So it was an at-bat. It's a good one, a really good one. But can we pump the brakes on one at-bat changing the course of the season?
Can I tell you it was the most exciting walk I've ever seen in my life? Like when he when he
That's funny.
got rid of his bat. Yep.
Yeah.
He was like, as if he hit a 3-run homer.
It was exciting, but I don't know if the Dodgers go on to win the World Series.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's going to be the Dodger-mentary of, back on April 12th, Freddie had a 15-pitch at-bat against Tyler Rogers that changed everything. It was pretty exciting, though.
13th pitch. Fouls it again. Pop up. Here it comes. Freeman takes ball 4. He wins the marathon with a bases loaded.
You hear that crowd?
And a 15-pitch at bat, and the Dodgers have taken the lead.
You're talking about the crowd right there, Sliwa. I'm glad you brought that up. Los Angeles sports fans have earned their reputation of letting other people's fans infiltrate their stadiums. It happens at Dodger Stadium, Angel Stadium. It happens with the Rams, obviously. And, look, when the Lakers play, teams like the Celtics, you see jerseys, you see Warrior stuff. It happens. Mostly because people from other places move here, right?
Yeah.
And we're kind of chill. We're good. That ballpark last night in San Francisco was half Dodger fans.
How is
Petco
that
Park
possible?
is mostly Dodger fans. When I was watching that game when I got home last night, you looked, there's far more blue than orange.
Listen
in
to
those
the
seats.
call.
Yeah.
The Joe Davis call. You just hear it in the background.
I love that.
Sounded almost like a home game. But I disagree a little bit there. I don't think it's as balanced as you think. Dodgers in San Francisco, you're not getting that type of a crowd here in LA of Giant fans.
I agree with that.
You're not getting, when
it's the Cubs and the Yankees, though, Slee, it's a lot of Cubs and Yankees.
So those may be because outside the division, they don't face each other. It's like a real experience. Maybe you're right on that one. But I was
Dodger fans travel.
I was pretty alone at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, no. That not with the Padres. It's not with the Padres. The Giants are probably third.
No, like very alone.
Cubs, and the weird thing about the Dodgers-Cubs, because they're blue, it doesn't pop the way that you might think it might otherwise. Like when the Rams played the Bills and the Cowboys.
Right. Oh, yeah, you kept saying
you're like, guys, they're also blue. You're not seeing it. When they play the 49ers and it's red, it's like, oh, right. It's totally different.
Every Rams PR person. No, that's one of ours. I don't think it is.
We'll count it.
Yeah, it was fun to see. Dodger fans are the best. They and part of the reason that Giant fans don't really, I don't want to say there aren't a lot, but it's not quite the same. I've been to what is it now? What's AT&T? I think it's called AT&T.
I think it's AT&T.
Yeah, I've been there as a Dodger fan and felt totally fine. I don't know if the same is true of Giant fans in Dodger Stadium. For better or for probably worse.
You just go to more games, period. But my experience when I was there for the playoff game, man, when I say 0.0 issues, I mean 0.0 issues. I'm talking about people who are sitting next to me. We're BSing about the game. We're talking about it. Julio was pitching that night.
Yep.
And that was my own personal experience.
Can I tell you something?
But all you need is one bad seed, and it kind of changes everything.
Here's the difference. Here's the biggest difference. The Padres have never been, up until now, a serious threat to the Dodgers.
Sure.
And when they came into that game that you and I were both at, this was we're going to kick the you-know-what out of these guys. It's cute, nice, right on. If it happens again, you will not have the same experience. If you have a Padre sweatshirt or hat or whatever it is, you will have a different ride than you did because now they are a threat. Now they are in the way. Last year at that point, it didn't feel like they were in the way.
Yeah.
It felt like they were just, this is the first team we get to tune up along the way.
Well, I'm going to have to try again then.
You should do it. We should go have some more beers again. That was fun too. All right, Brian Windhorst talking about Game 1, Lakers Grizzlies. How important is it? It's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710. I don't know if I like this or hate this, Al, but it's spot on is what it is. When we were talking about, Taylor was asking us during Hey Did You See if you and I would ever participate in any cosplay.
Yeah.
Somebody suggested that if you and I were going to do one together, that we do it as Haas and Little Joe from Bonanza. That you, by the way, you come out really good in this. You're Michael Landon. Michael Landon was like a television star for 50 years, universally regarded as the handsomest man on TV, okay?
Well, they already screwed it up.
Michael Landon is a really handsome person, okay? What do you think Haas looks like? Right? That I'm Haas in this whole thing really kind of sucks.
With a gap-toothed grin.
He's gap-toothed, he's heavy, and he kind of looks like he might be a little slow.
You look like a linebacker in the league.
Like
no, I don't. I look like.
But he's been in the league for.
You look like
4
Lenny
years
from
too
Mice
long.
and Men if you're doing Haas.
Whoa.
If you're doing Haas,
Whoa.
Haas looks a little bit like that. I'm just saying.
Get him, man.
At least you get to wear your boots, Trav.
Yeah,
I could
boots,
wear my
get the
boots.
cowboy
10-gallon
hat.
That's
hat.
a good point. Like I don't. The reason I'm not genuinely upset is that it's way too good.
That
it's way too
picture
good.
is probably not the best.
That's Haas. Look, see, here's
That's probably
Haas.
not
Here's
the best.
Haas and Little Joe at the bottom of the screen right there, and that you get to be Michael Landon. I'm okay with. That's fine with me.
How much
Haas,
money would you need to dress up like that for a show?
to like Haas? Somebody, if you got me the costume, I'd put it on. I don't need any money.
Okay.
Yeah. If you got I need a vest. I need a Western shirt. I need the hat, jeans.
I'm looking for a wager for the playoffs. The NBA
No,
playoffs that we're
I'll
all
do
gonna
it. I'll do it. Like see, because I could conceal my essence as Haas, right? Like that's the whole point. Like the thing that would really make me think twice is if I had to dress like Michael Phelps at the Olympics. That's the part I'd be like, oh hell no.
Skins, 100%. Going skins.
Haas and Little Joe. I don't want. Can I at least be the dad? Given Lauren Green in this situation?
No, absolutely not.
So I told Taylor, he goes, I know what Haas looks like, and then he saw her, you're like, oh yeah, no, that works. I don't think I like you for the rest of the day.
It's Haas, it's Jeb Bush.
It's better than the Mice of Men reference, though.
Yeah, well, that's just mean.
I've never seen Bonanza before.
Well, but Lenny's not only big and strong. There's something up with Lenny.
Right,
like Lenny.
right.
Lenny's Lenny. He's like the standard for cut him a little slack. I don't want to be known as that.
Okay.
Who said that? That's Rams Steve. You're going to get blocked for a couple of days for doing that along the way. I don't like how accurate that is. All right. Brian Windhorst talking about the first game of the series, the Lakers and the Grizz, coming up on Sunday.
LeBron James isn't going to be stressing it. You want to know why I know that? Because he's lost game one 21 times in his career. Guess what? He's won the series 12 of those times. More than any team and anybody in history, according to Hembo. LeBron has won after losing game one. So yeah, the Lakers will try to do it.
I don't think that the Lakers need to do anything other than win a game in Memphis. That's it, right? Game 1, Game 2, Game 5, Game 7. Just win one of them, and you're in pretty good shape.
Well, I actually think I don't think you go down 0-2. Can they come back from 0-2? They can. The problem is, I think the thing that's going to hurt the Lakers most in this series is the fact that they're 80-plus games in. Now it's the postseason. I think the reason why they had such a bad week and a half is because it just looked like they were tired. It looked like they were gassed. We talked a little bit about this yesterday where we said that you can tell that the way they were playing in that final game, whether it's Minnesota or it's Phoenix, go to any of these games, they just look gassed. The question is, are they going to be tired versus a fresh Memphis Grizzlies team? That's my biggest concern with the Lakers going to the postseason now.
Just for game one or the whole series?
So I'm talking about the whole series.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The Windhorst thing, I don't disagree. Or if they lose game one, I'm not sitting here sweating it.
They're supposed to lose.
However, you lose the first two, I'm sweating it.
Yeah, that's different.
I don't think winning 4 out of 5 against a Memphis Grizzlies team where you already look like you're gassed, you already look like you're tired.
I want to change it. Winning 4 out of 5 against the Houston Rockets is hard. Mm-hmm. It just is, right? These are NBA players, and now obviously elevated up to the second seed in the West, beating them 4 times in 5 nights. That's hard. I don't. The opponent aside, and obviously they're a good opponent. They need to win one of those first 2 games. But if they don't, as long as they win game 3, you can exhale a little bit because now it changes. I know the math is still the same, but now you just need to win one more, and now it's right back in their court. Now it's an even series, and game 5 turns the whole thing.
Do you agree with this? The longer the series goes, it's going to benefit the Memphis Grizzlies?
I think that's true. Of every series the Lakers play from this point forward, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially that kind of team, young team.
Yes.
And it's also hard to believe that the Lakers would sweep anybody because I don't think they can.
They're not
in the
going
playoffs
to
are pretty rare.
They're not going to get
5.
Memphis is not going to be the type of team where it's like, hey, they lost because they got tired.
No.
But the Lakers can lose a series because they just ran out of gas. That can happen to the Lakers.
I think they're going to be fine on Sunday when it comes to like freshness.
Yeah.
Because they'll have had 4 days off.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. After that, even though you get a couple of days off in between every game but the final one, I think it is, that is still – the Lakers are significantly different than most other teams. Even teams like Kevin Durant is not a young player. Steph Curry is not a young player. LeBron is not just in his 20th season. He's still got that foot thing. I know we kind of just move – it's still there.
Pretend.
Anthony Davis is always, cross your fingers, toes, and everything else you got that he stays healthy. It's a big question with him. D'Angelo Russell is just off of an injury that had him miss a bunch of time towards the end of the season. They are in a different spot. These are older players. Even an older team like the Warriors, Wiggins is just back, Steph's missed some time, they've all missed some time. They don't feel as squeezed by the timeline as the Lakers. The Lakers are the most squeezed by the timeline.
To answer, Windhorst is saying how is it important to win the first game. I don't, as long as you just need to split. How it happens, I don't think matters. I just tell you, and I know home court advantage, we said this a little bit yesterday, that playoffs don't start until the first road team wins a game, whatever the case is. Going down 0-2 sounds like
it's trouble.
The worst recipe possible. Can they win a game in Memphis? Of course they can. It's not like they're playing the 98 Bulls or whatever it is. Yes, they can. But those first 2 games, if you don't walk away with a win in Memphis and you're 0-2 coming back to crypto, I don't think it's like every other series where you're like, oh, well, they just held their home court. Lakers will be fine.
This is a little contradictory, but I think that even if the Lakers lose them both, they're still not going to panic because of the personnel on their team, and particularly because of LeBron.
Yeah,
LeBron's been through this a lot. LeBron came back from 3-1 in the finals. He knows the road back to these things. There's nothing that's going to freak him out. There's nothing that's going to be panicky about him. The opposite of that is if the Lakers do win one of those first 2 games, I think Memphis is jittery.
Yeah, it
is
Big
the
time.
team that, look, is it happening again? Are we going to do it? Do they start to chirp more? Do they start to chirp at each other? Do they start to chirp at the referees? That they're the team that if the pressure gets turned up a little bit, the heat gets turned up a little bit, that I think they're more likely to struggle with that. I do think that Ja's the best player in the series. I do. But I think that LeBron is the guy that can control the series the most, if that makes any sense. So if the Lakers get a chance to have an advantage, win on the road, I think LeBron can really use that. Ja just needs to be awesome. That becomes harder if they fall behind.
Part of what you just said right there about if the series is tied 1-1 and it comes back to crypto, and now all of a sudden maybe you got Memphis kind of thinking twice, man, we should have held home court and we didn't do it, whatever the case is. The other part of it, and I think this is why I go to if you go down 0-2, now they become loose. Now it's kind of like not house money, but we don't have to win this game. But if we win this game, we kind of take a choke hold of the series. You don't want Memphis to feel loose. You want them to feel tight, like you were talking about.
Yeah, and they'll get tight quick based on their personality. Right? I don't think Ja's scared, but Ja's emotional. Ja is – Dylan Brooks is clearly emotional. They're an emotional team. They are what's the difference between inexperienced and not quite what because they're not inexperienced. They have some experience. Less experienced than what the Lakers are. They're less
not a veteran.
Calm. They're not full. I don't know what that
not
terminology
unproven.
is. Unproven, but they've been in it.
But the reason why we don't pick them in Denver and or take Sacramento out. Denver's been to the playoffs. Denver's got to the Western Conference Finals with the Lakers. Then they had injuries and they haven't been able to get over that hump. But I think for Memphis it's just unproven. You're proven you could get there. You're proven you could you could win a round in the playoffs, but unproven in We can make a real run, and they haven't done that.
People are responding to Haas, and I don't like it. They like it as much as Taylor likes it. I
have other suggestions too, which are pretty good.
I haven't seen Taylor this excited about making fun of me in quite some time. So we'll lean into the Haasness of it all for the rest of the day. Maybe look, Halloween's not super far away. Maybe I've got an early Halloween costume. Factor Cap coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710.
That's cap.
That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back.
First of all, it's not a cap.
It is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, two things. One, we've gotten some other great suggestions about what you guys could cosplay as. We have Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. I think that's great. SpongeBob.
Do you know what I was going to say, do you know what that is?
Kinda.
Yeah.
I have a little SpongeBob knowledge, not a ton.
And then
who would be who, though?
Mermaid Man, Travis. Barnacle Boy, Alan.
Yeah,
we also have Timon and Pumbaa. So
that's pretty good.
Timon and Pumbaa's good.
No, Haas and Little Joe is the best one that we've come up with so far.
Agreed. And then also...
Yeah,
I mean, sure. When was that from?
Bonanza.
The 60s.
Yeah.
Right. But have you not seen the picture?
No, I did not see the picture.
The picture's pretty funny. No, the picture is...
The other thing to look out for is Red Sox and Rays are playing right now. Rays are currently 12-0 in the season. They can go 13-0 and tie the record for the best start in MLB history. They're currently down 2-1 to the Sox. So we'll keep you guys updated on that if there's any movement. All right.
Let's go Rays.
So last night, between the Raptors and the Bulls, there was an unprecedented event happening at the free throw line.
What are you laughing at, Greg?
What happened?
What are you laughing at?
That's amazing.
What happened?
What are you laughing at, Greg?
Awesome. Okay. All right. Fine. I'm wrong. That works.
I know.
Travis is right.
That's perfect.
That's what I'm saying. We're not doing any better than
All
that.
right, so Raptors and Bulls were playing yesterday. The Raptors missed 18 of their 36 free throw attempts. That's the most missed free throws in a winner-take-all playoff game or play-in game since the Lakers missed 19 in this Game 7 of the 1969 Finals. So the reason potentially, though, is because DeMar DeRozan's daughter was doing so she was doing some offense when the Raptors were taking free throws. So this is what she sounded like whenever any Raptors player took a free throw. Yes. So she was screaming whenever they took a free throw, and considering it's in Toronto, and every time
hear it
exactly,
perfectly.
it was very clear.
Yeah.
So and also DeMar said that they will not bring her to Miami, but. This is a
put her on scholarship. Take her everywhere they go.
Well, this is a genius tactic, and the Bulls should continue this through the first round of the playoffs. Travis, Factor Cap.
Yeah, I mean, why not? It's not like it's some random fan from the stands. It's DeMar DeRozan's daughter. If you want to throw her in the series and give her a good seat near the Bulls bench, and look, even a bad free throw shooting team should make more than half of their foul shots, especially at home. And I have a hard time saying that didn't have something to do with it. Even if it's just one or two, it could be the difference. Yeah, bring daughter DeRozan with you. Why not?
Berg?
Yeah, it's fact. I mean, keep doing it until it doesn't work. I don't see what the problem is. I mean, the sound is quite loud. And,
Adam Silver might step in.
but why? She's in the stand. She can do whatever she wants. She's not
profane.
She's not profane.
Yeah.
She's just making loud screeching sounds.
It's pretty loud.
It is really
She's
loud.
just screaming bloody murder.
I mean, it might hurt her throat after a little while. But
yeah, she may tap herself out before by the second game of the series, she's done anyway.
She's not going to Miami because she lost her voice.
No
other
school,
reason.
forget school. I just can't do it anymore. Yeah, but I think it's great. Keep doing it.
Okay, Al?
Fact. We're all superstitious to some extent when it comes to sports. When something's working, you got to ride it.
Yeah.
And if it means DeMar DeRozan's daughter has to scream from the top of her lungs wherever they go to just get in the playoffs, I say you keep doing it.
Like a
she got a
horror
lot of
movie.
love on a lot of highlights yesterday.
All right, Taylor?
Okay, fact. I like this. I like that she's cheering on her dad, but we got to be careful what we wish for here. Just imagine if everybody,
starts doing that.
like everybody starts doing it. Like 16,000 people screaming bloody murder.
True. But
I
if
love
it's
that,
working,
Okay, let's go around the room.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Can any of you even make that sound?
No,
neither can I. Emily, could you get that high?
Maybe I'm not going to do it right
Yeah.
now.
Why not? Try.
But I'm not going to do it.
Because I hear what you're saying,
Just move
Taylor.
the mic away.
Only
Ugh.
young
It would
kids
sound like that.
and girls can get that high.
What
I
is
don't
he
think you
doing?
can
Why
do
is
it.
he making that noise?
The noise that Alan is making is perfect.
I don't think you can get there.
All right.
I'd really like you to try, Emily.
Maybe
seriously, move the mic away and try.
No,
I would love
I'm
to
not
hear
gonna
it.
I won't be able to speak for the rest of the show if I do that.
I'll try it.
All right, so Kathleen Karate has been named the Rat Czar of New York City, and so she was she gave her speech yesterday, and so I'm going to give a little
What a
portion
title.
of her speech to New York City.
As New York City's first director of rodent mitigation, I will bring a science and systems-based approach to reducing New York City's rat population, with a strong focus on cutting off the food, water, and shelter rats need to survive, and ensure every New Yorker is prepared to take up this mantle in this fight. Pizza rat may live in infamy, but rats and the conditions that support their thriving will no longer be tolerated in New York City. No more dirty curbs, unmanaged spaces, or brazen burrowing. There's a new sheriff in town. And with your help, we'll send those rats packing.
So, again, why don't we all love that we're living in New York City and this is what we're talking about? But the rats are going to hate this, and you would be the rat czar of New York City for the right price. Berg, Dr. Cap.
I mean, I'll do almost anything for the right price.
Damn right.
So, yeah. I mean, it depends how much money we're talking here. But also, I mean, like, the rats are part of the charm of New York City, right? I mean, that's what you kind of
See
expect.
that?
Like being there.
Was that a cat? Nope, that's a rat.
That's a rat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes. So it's fact. The question is, would I do anything for the right price? 100% yes.
Al?
Cap, I would mess it all up. I don't want anything to do with this. I'm not going to be the right person. If it's up
you'll
to
learn
me,
the science.
If it's up to me, I'll catch them and let them out into like an open field. I won't.
Come
I
right
do
back
a
on the
catch.
shuttle.
I do a catch and release. I do that at home. I get a mosquito. If I could catch it, it's like go back out there.
Trev?
A big pack going to the subway.
I would only do it if I got to be called the Rat Czar. She introduced herself as the new rodent mitigation expert. That title sucks. Rat Czar is pretty great. Like if I could, I'd get like a chain
rats.
that just said Rat Czar across my chest.
One of those big ones.
Yeah, I'd have
The big
ears. I did
What
whiskers.
was her title? What was her title?
She called herself the head of rodent mitigation.
It's like on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Rat Czar is much better. The rodent population in New York City, I know that it's kind of apocryphal and all these things, but if you've spent any time there,
yeah.
it's disgusting.
They're thriving.
It is so
it's charming.
gross, and something needs to get done about that. And if rodent mitigation lady's up for it, good on her.
All right, Taylor.
Yeah, I think she's full of crap. What's she going to do?
Yeah, exactly. What
Science.
can you do?
She's all talk.
There's 1 million rats on the farm, right?
No, Not really. More mice than rats.
Okay. Okay.
We had a lot of cats that would just kind of take
Is
control of
that the answer? Just to release a bunch of snakes and cats into New York City so they can eat well?
Yeah, just replace one invasive species for another.
Why not?
Exactly.
Watch out by
Then we
Wall
have a
Street.
bunch of
There's a
snakes.
python. It's just waiting there.
Yeah, we're glad. That's one reason why we're glad we're all in Los Angeles. All right, so
We got our issues. Don't worry. We got
plenty of raccoons here.
Got plenty of stuff out here.
You especially.
Yeah.
Home raccoons.
All right, so Coachella is this weekend. It's the opening weekend for Coachella, and I got to think. Well, one of my roommates is going, so fun, great, good for them. But you would go to Coachella with a coworker. Alan, fetch your cap, and I'm going to say any coworker. I'll let you name any coworker. You would go to Coachella with a coworker.
Yeah. Cap, and it has nothing to do with the coworker. It has to do with going to Coachella. So if I can go do something else with a coworker. Trav, you want to go catch a ball game? Let's go do it. You guys want to go out, all grab some dinner? Let's go do it. It's the Coachella part that I'm not going to go to, so it has nothing to do with the coworker. I'm out on this one. Cap for me.
I would go under very specific circumstances, but I'm mostly with Al. Like, if it were just, do I want to go with Coachella and I can take anyone? No. I have no interest in ever participating.
3-day pass.
That said, if somebody that can control whether or not I get to keep working here asks me, I'm going. Right? If somebody says, hey, you want to go to Coachella? Not really. I really think you should come to Coachella with me, then I would go.
Haas is more of a stagecoach guy, right?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I would go to Stagecoach willingly with my 10-gallon hat.
Bert?
Cap, same reason as Sliwa. There's zero chance I'm going to Coachella. I don't care who you are. I don't care if we're the best of friends at work.
What is he
I'm
like
not
the
going to Coachella.
VIP thing?
I don't
Okay,
care.
that's a little interesting.
No, I don't care.
Because at least that, which
And
I
what if it's
haven't
Rage
done
playing?
it. All right, now we're talking.
Yeah, come on.
And then, I don't know, Bob Marley's hologram.
No holograms.
Taylor, you want to go? Let's go,
Damien,
bro.
yeah.
I'm ready.
There you go. You got a friend
I got
to go
sold.
with. You
I
did.
got sold.
No, I'm still completely out. I have no interest in being in that area.
You're the music guy here.
Fact. Yeah, I would do it. I do it with Slee. Let's go, Slee. But the few times that I've been, so I went 2017, 2018, and it was with coworkers. So I'd do it again.
All right. So there's a New York Times article about how women, American women, are now much more likely to try this thing called Tinder Passport. And Tinder Passport is something you can sign up for, and you can expand your range enough that you can go and match with people in other countries. So you can go match with someone in London and in Spain and Greece and all these places, and because they are quote unquote fed up with American men. So, but let's flip it on your side. You think it's a good idea to start a relationship with someone in another country if you're not having luck domestically? Taylor, fetch your cap.
Fact. Yeah, it works for some people. I've done this before, so it's the reason I moved to LA, because I was in a relationship with a Danish woman. That fell through, and I fell in love with LA, but it works for some people, so go for it.
Trev?
Yeah, so that you picked Denmark is interesting to me, because I think if you're going to go international, it has to at least be relatively practical, right? Like if you're here and you want to go Canadian or Mexican or something like that, sure, that's at least close enough. But if you match with somebody in Mongolia or South Korea, that's a bit of a haul to get together with that person. So I think it matters on which part of the geography we're talking about.
Berg?
Cap, I have no interest in. Hi, Steve Mason.
Hi.
What's up, Mace?
I wanted to do a little factor cap.
Oh, all right. I thought you were
That's
just
the
coming
last
in to
question.
pile in on me being called Haas.
Michael Landon without the hair.
Michael Landon at least
I'll
was
take it.
handsome.
Yeah, no, he had glorious hair.
Yeah, he
Which
did.
is
Did you hear
why
the
it
question,
wasn't
Mace?
a good
Yeah,
match.
there's something about
Tinder.
Denmark.
Would you Tinder internationally?
Tinder Passport.
Tinder.
Yes.
Oh, hell yes. Are you kidding me? That would be
if you-
fascinating.
The question is though, if you're not having success here
Here.
in America,
Oh, would you go somewhere else?
to make it work?
Yeah. I would go to Amsterdam.
on Tinder. So you're going to go on Tinder and you're going to put on.
in Amsterdam.
Is it good?
At a specific coffee shop.
At a certain coffee shop.
It's a certain district.
A certain district, not in the red light district, but in the the other fun part of town. Yeah, I think that would be great. Amsterdam.
All right, Al?
It's a good
I don't think
idea.
I answered.
I would not do it, but it's a good idea. At least at the absolute worst, you're getting a chance to meet somebody from a different part of the world. Maybe you're learning something about their culture, where they're from. Sometimes we get so stuck in what we have here in the States Trav, when's the last time? We've talked about this, right? You haven't gone out in a long time.
Not including Mexico and Canada. I've not left North America in 30 years.
When I think traveling is one of the best things that you could do. So I love the idea for somebody who's looking for dating. Maybe they're not having luck here. And even if they don't find the right match, they get to explore another country, learn about another country.
Yeah, a lot of people on dating apps, I think, see the same person over and over. Again, I'm not on dating apps, but I hear you wind up seeing the same person over and over and over again, right? Does that happen to you?
No, it does not. I'm on dating. I don't know if it happens to you, Emily, but on the dating apps that I was on, I'm not on them anymore. But I don't see the same people over and over. They're different people on different apps.
Strike them? Aren't they like if you go
on the
not
one
interested,
app,
mute them?
Like on
forever?
Bumble, if you hit left, if you swipe left.
What's Bumble? Like what's
Bumble,
that's the hookup one?
The girl. So you both have to swipe right.
Tinder's the one. It's just that's a hookup one.
Yeah, that's
right?
a hookup app.
They're all a hookup app.
Yeah,
maybe Hinge not so
they're
much.
all hookup apps,
But no, like Bumble's just the woman has to talk to you first. But no, but once you swipe left, they're gone. You can't see them ever.
Oh, you'll
again.
never see them again. Okay, got it. I've
From
never
what I
been
know.
there, so I don't.
What if I change my mind?
I'm sure you haven't.
What if my situation changes? It's like, I wasn't before, but now,
Tap left twice.
You just put them in the maybe file.
Oh, I know. And you could put a picture of Haas in your profile.
Did you see this picture?
Yeah.
Oh, you
no,
did.
I didn't. I didn't see it.
But also, you pay more to be able to go back on somebody. You can pay for Bumble Premium, Tinder Premium, Hinge Premium to go back on people if you miss.
Oh, you can.
Oh, okay.
I'm not.
Got
Okay.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Travis and Sliwa.
Oh, that is so great. That is so great. It absolutely is Travis and Sliwa.
Doesn't that look just like them? This is
Get that cowboy hat on.
First of all, Haas
you
is
already got
amazing
a
for
boot guy.
Who pulled that reference? That sounds like a Michael Thompson reference, doesn't it? He's the one that was alive for Bonanza.
Steve.
It's Ram Steve is the answer to the question of who put that together.
All right, I got one more quick one.
Was
for
it
you
you?
guys.
Was it?
No, it was not me. I thought the Lenny was pretty good.
Yeah, see, I feel I
thought Lenny
I got
was
certain
okay.
feelings
Yeah.
about Lenny.
I know.
I feel like that's not very nice
It
to
is
me.
not very nice. You're right.
Lenny was not nice to you.
No.
Trav, Mace came this early. Let's just start Super Crosstalk right now.
Yeah, let's do it. Super cross.
Brought to you by. Are we done, Em? Is that the last one?
I'll do one more, and I want to just have Mace because he can come in have a question for this. So, Gen Zs are more likely to give blood the last few weeks because the Red Cross, you know how they give out a T-shirt, they give out candy, all that stuff if you give blood. So they've been doing this Snoopy shirt, this like cute little Snoopy shirt at the corner of the Red Cross, and people are going crazy for it on TikTok, and they're like giving blood so they can get this Snoopy shirt because otherwise you can't get it. So this is a genius marketing idea from the Red Cross. Mace, fact or cap?
Fact. If everybody wants a shirt and you want people to donate blood, seems like a perfect opportunity. I'm not sure what I mean. I have a beagle, so I love Snoopy. I'm a big Snoopy guy.
Would you do this?
I'm a big Snoopy guy.
As people say.
Yeah.
Steve
no,
Mason, Snoopy guy.
I do it for the T-shirt. Yeah, I mean, if the T-shirt's cool, fact. It's a great idea.
Berg?
Do I get a cookie too?
Yes, you get snacks,
Then
cookie,
yes, I'm
and
in.
shirt.
Totally
a little bit
in,
of juice,
fact.
little cup of juice
Yeah,
afterwards.
you need a little cup. It has to be the small cup. You can't have
small,
a lot
little
of it.
Dixie cup. Yeah.
There's only so much juice to go around.
Fact for me, it's a good idea because it's working.
Right.
That there's just the mere fact that you're drawing people to go give blood, and that shirt's working. It's a good idea for that. If you told me, hey, go give blood, I'm not going for the Snoopy shirt. I'm going to give blood, but if it's working for them, by all means, great idea.
Trev?
Even though I'm more of a Lucy guy, Mace.
Oh, you're more of a Lucy
I like that
guy.
she takes the football back. I
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
That's kind of my.
so
I
you.
do.
Yeah,
That's
that
so
is you.
I like
Jeez.
that. I like that. I promise.
Although
I
that's
won't.
a prank and you hate pranks.
I don't know. I like.
You're
I-
anti-prank.
Here's
Lucy's
why
He's
I
changing.
don't prank.
He's
Charlie.
changing.
Nope.
It's
I
only
don't.
to other people.
I don't like pranks because I don't want them done to me. If there was
Okay.
some sort of prank immunity, I might go the other way. But I don't want the payback that comes.
Charlie
along with
never goes back at Lucy either.
Charlie's got
never
some
goes
sense.
back. Does not
Got a
have her
backbone,
any
man.
response at all.
So even as a Lucy person, I love anything that gets people to do something that could help someone else is a very good idea. T-shirt, cookie, juice box, whatever it is, set it up. Good job, Em. Would you give your T-shirt blood?
I am very bad at injections and giving blood,
that's a
so I
no.
likely would know.
Do they drive around with the trailer or the Winnebago like in the
They
office?
used to bring
Do
it
they do
to
that?
schools.
Yeah,
I
they
remember
still
that.
do.
Bloodmobile.
Yeah,
the Bloodmobile.
Yeah,
sure.
they would roll up in. When I was in college, the Bloodmobile would show up every once in a while.
I'd do it if they pull up to LA Live. Yeah.
Well, there you go. There's got to be a clinic. You could probably
if you're listening.
You can go sell
if you're
it somewhere
listening,
else.
Bloodmobile.
Yeah, come on.
Stop right outside on Olympic and Figueroa. We'll all come out.
Looks like Haas, but he's kind of a loosey guy.
Put that on my headstone. Looked like Haas, more of a loosey ethos. Like that a lot. Why am I okay with that? Shouldn't be okay with that, but I am. The Rams have the second lowest win total, according to one expert. Should they try to get even lower? That's next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. You know what just flashed on the TV over your head?
What do you got?
You know what today is the anniversary of?